Hi, my name is Natalie and I'm one of the founders of Pendi. And I'm going to be on this week's Ask Me on Hi TV. Can't wait to see what the questions are. Hope you like the answers. First segment is called Actually Me, where they fire a whole random set of questions at me. Can't wait to hear what they are.
Hi Natalie.
Hi, how are you?
What brings out the inner child in you?
I think mostly it's my own children these days. They are constant, they're an everyday reminder to kind of keep that childlike wonderment going on the simplest of things.
What would your perfect day be like?
Where I'd have to do nothing really, where I could just relax with my family and just maybe go to the beach or go for a swim and just enjoy each other and have some free time with them.
What's the best comedy movie you've ever seen?
I really love the series Allo Allo, which is hilarious. I don't know if you know it. In terms of movie, I love The Party with Peter Sellers. That's one of my favorites.
What's the best concert you ever attended?
Groove Armada in London in, I think, 2008. One of the best.
Do you believe in luck?
Yeah, a little bit, yes. Luck's good, but I think you can't sit and wait for luck to come around. I think you have to make your own luck, else you'll put some work into it.
What 3 habits will improve your life?
Maybe meditation, yoga, and that holiday that I really want to take by myself.
What really makes you angry?
People who don't spell a complete word, where they will say IHV, UR, ML, and you have to spend half an hour figuring out what they're trying to say to you. Just write the word, it's not going to take so long.
For what in your life are you most grateful?
My family and my friends, the people I have around me who are like this solid team of cheerleaders, always encouraging, always supporting, and they always have my back. I can't be more blessed than what I have, with what I have.
Are you a clean or messy person?
I used to be a bit of a neat freak and I used to be really clean and tidy and organized, but now that I'm sharing my life with 3 boys and my house and my space with 3 boys, I've turned into the messy kind.
What does a successful relationship look like to you?
I think a successful relationship is 50-50, give and take.
What was the most awesome excuse you've ever made?
I think it's an excuse I use quite often. A lot of people, when they look at me, they jump to the assumption that I don't understand Sinhalese. So most times I'm offended by it, but other times I use it to my advantage and I'm like, sorry sir, can't understand, and I use it to my advantage. So not sure if I can though now since I'm telling you about it. So.
What's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard someone say out loud?
Price please, it's the question we get all the time, and sorry, I know you're asking because you really want to know the price please, but it is one of the most ridiculous things I hear all the time.
If you could bring one musician back from the dead, who would it be?
I have 2 actually, and they're both musicians I've been long-time fans of. One's Elvis Presley. I really wish I could see one of his concerts, but I can't. And the other is Michael Jackson. We'd actually got tickets to go and see his concert in London, but then he died tragically like right before the concert, so never got to see that either. So yeah, I would love to bring them back.
What is your secret vice?
I eat. If I'm stressed, I eat. If I'm tired, I eat. If I'm angry, I eat. I get angry if I don't eat. Yeah, I eat.
What animal best represents you?
Maybe a dog, I think, because I'm a little rough until you get to know me, and then once you get to know me, I'm a bit silly and lovable, I think. And I've been told that I'm loyal to a fault, and I think like they say in Sinhalese, Hondata Hondai and Narakata Narakai, kind of like a dog, so I think maybe a dog.
In what ways do you hold yourself back?
I'm really stubborn, and the things that I don't like to do or don't want to do, even though I know I should do it, it's good for me, it's good for the business, I don't do it. Dinner, I know. I'm looking at you because you always push me to do things that I should do even though I'm not comfortable doing it.
How do you want to be remembered?
As a good person, as a kind person, and a good mother, I hope. I really hope.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be?
There's such a long list of things that I want to do and see. I think right now one of the things we really want to do is we want to see the Northern Lights, and we haven't done like a wildlife tour maybe in Africa somewhere. The kids would really love to. They've just seen Lion King and they're learning about Africa and the animals, so that'd be something really nice.
What book has influenced you the most?
The Celestine Prophecy. It was a book that was introduced to me when I was in my 20s by somebody who turned out to be a really influential part of my life. Because it put into words things, because at that age, like when I was in my 20s, I was just figuring out things about myself, what the kind of person I wanted to be, where I wanted to go, and that book kind of put things into perspective and put into words the things that I was feeling but I couldn't put a finger on quite yet.
If you could master one skill you don't have right now, what would it be?
To keep my mouth shut and not open it and say the things I know I'm not supposed to say. I really wish I could do that. Keep my opinions to myself.
Which are you more likely to fight for, love or money?
Love.
Would you rather be a jack of many trades or a master of one?
Jack of many. I think even at the moment, I think I'm a jack of many. I'm juggling lots of different things at the moment. So.
How would your best friends describe you?
I think shy to start off with, but once they get me going, they can't shut me up. I think that's what they'd say.
What makes you happiest?
My family and my friends.
Would you rather live in the city or the woods?
City. How to live in the woods? No internet. Come on. How to shut the kids up when they're annoying you?
What age do you feel like you are right now?
563.
What are you most proud of?
My kids.
If you could choose your last words, what would they be?
Don't cry about me. Put a party. Oh my God, that was tough. I've never had so many questions thrown at me and been put on the spot like that. That's the end of the first segment. Let's see what the second one brings. Kicking off the second segment entitled Who Am I? Answering questions on Google about me. Let's see what the questions are. So let's see what the first question is. How did Natalie come up with the brand Pendi? By accident. I have a husband. I'm mentioning you again, take note. Who bullied me and pushed me and forced me and bugged me until I turned a hobby into a full-time business. So that's how it came about. Why did Natalie name her brand Pendi? Pendi is actually a family nickname. My father and his brother growing up, they were called Pendi, and growing up I was called Pendi as well. I'm still called Pendi by a lot of people. Who does Natalie admire the most? My mother. She's a bit of a superwoman. Growing up, she brought up about 500 children all by herself. She's a bit of a superwoman and she's been my biggest cheerleader and always told me that I can do anything that I want to do and not to let anything hold me back. So she's the person I admire the most. What is Natalie's biggest strength? I think, like I said before in the earlier segment, it's the number of people I have supporting me and encouraging me and who have my back. That's my biggest strength. When was Natalie born? April 15th, 1984. Which is Natalie's favorite collection yet? The very first one we did when we launched Pendi, we collaborated with Salt, Batiks by Salt, and we did this amazing coffee table and this sofa upholstered in hand-dyed batiks, which I refuse to sell. I'm holding on to it. I'm never going to sell it. I'm keeping it. That was the best. What is Natalie's greatest accomplishment? I think I've yet to accomplish anything that I consider really a great accomplishment. At the moment, the way I see it is that I'm just going from day to day, trying to raise my family and trying to build a business together with my husband. So, accomplishments yet to come. What are Natalie's other hobbies? I love music. I love to read. I was a bit of a bookworm growing up. I really like to cook, and I love swimming. What was Natalie's dream job growing up? I really wanted to be a pilot because I really love to travel, and I loved airports and planes. I always loved it. But I guess life took a different turn. What is Natalie's biggest pet peeve? So whenever we've advertised for jobs and we've said we're hiring, I think it's a good thing I'm saying this on camera, so I hope anybody who applies remembers this, is that they take the trouble to write a proper covering letter and not, "Hi dear, can I know the salary please?" All in short form. Please spell your words out properly. I'm sorry, that's really my pet peeve. What is Natalie's favorite Netflix show? Grace and Frankie, or Frankie and Grace. It's about these two ladies who've grown old together, and then their husbands realize that they're in love with each other, and they leave Grace and Frankie and marry each other. The husbands, I mean. What is Natalie's favorite non-physical attribute about herself? Don't have any favorite physical attributes. Anyway, I'm a little bit sarcastic and funny sometimes. Does Natalie still watch cartoons? Yep, yes. Does Natalie sing? Natalie really likes to sing, but people don't like to listen to Natalie singing. They really don't. Does Natalie wear glasses? Yes, Natalie does wear glasses. Does Natalie have a nickname? Yeah, Natalie has lots of nicknames. Nat, Nata, Pendi, lots of nicknames. Does Natalie believe in karma? Hell yes. What you put out there is what you get back in return. I totally believe in karma. Does Natalie have pets? Does a husband count? Is Natalie scared of snakes? Yeah, so. I'm more mortally terrified of cats. Cats scare me more than snakes do. Is Natalie an interior designer? Yes, I am. That's actually what I'm trained to do and what I've been doing, what I did for the last 15 years. So, yes, I am. Is Natalie on Instagram? Natalie is, but please don't follow me because I only post a million pictures of my children and it'll bore you. So it's not properly Instagram. Is Natalie a cat or dog person? I answered this already, kind of. A dog person, definitely dog. Is Natalie a vegan? No. How Natalie became an entrepreneur? Like I said before, my husband forced me to. I didn't have a choice. He forced me. How would Natalie describe her childhood? I think very imaginative and happy, I think. My mother, my kids now cannot believe that we never had mobile phones or internet when we were growing up. They weren't invented yet. And so my mother always would push us out into the garden to play, so we had to always invent all of our games. So we have a lot of really nice memories, like going on big hikes and playing these camping games, and so some really nice memories. So really good childhood, I think. How would Natalie describe herself in one word? Tired. How tall is Natalie? 5'8". How many languages can Natalie speak? 2, Sinhalese and English. How does Natalie get motivated? Motivation can come from anything. It can come from music I'm listening to or a book I'm reading. I've even been motivated with from one of my kids' storybooks or something that they have, a story they've told or something they've spoken to me about. So motivation comes to me from anywhere. And that's the end of the second segment. I hope I've answered all of Google's questions about me. Let's see what the third segment is about. The third segment, which is called My First, where I'm asked a whole lot of questions about my first experiences. Let's see what the questions are about.
Your first thought today.
Can I go back to sleep?
The first thing you do when you wake up.
Coffee. I have my coffee.
First thing you ate today.
Chocolate cake. Really? It was 6:30. Chocolate cake and coffee for breakfast.
First lesson from Dad.
He taught me to drive. He held on to the handbrake and we crashed. But yeah, he tried. I tried.
First advice from Mom.
She had this sixth sense where she could read people and pick up on situations and people's moods and things, and so she passed that on to us, and to kind of always be alert and to be cautious and to be aware of what was happening around us, and how we should maybe be on guard in certain situations or of certain people. So I think that's one of the first things she taught me from the time I was very little. I always remember her talking about things like that.
The first time you got into trouble.
So many times. Just yesterday, I was telling somebody how my mother used to punish. I have a sister, and how we used to fight and she used to punish us. And I used to be so angry, and I couldn't stand the sight of my sister, but my mother used to make us give each other a kiss and say sorry to each other and then sit and look at each other for the next hour. Yeah, so that's what I remember growing up.
Your first school?
Methodist College.
The first time you surprised someone?
I surprised my mother for her 50th birthday. Very sadly, I couldn't be there. I was away. But I organized a party for her, and I got all of our family and friends to surprise her, and it was really nice. I could only watch it on a video call from where I was, but everybody went all out and surprised her. And we put a little newspaper article of her in the papers also, celebrating 50 years of Auntie Bossy, so that was a really nice surprise.
Your first vehicle?
It's the car I'm still driving today. It's the Honda Vessel.
The first time traveling abroad?
I was one. We went to Denmark to visit my grandmother. I don't remember it, but I'm told that has to be my first time. Yeah.
Your first lesson about life?
You can't always get what you want.
Your first best friend?
Oh, I remember her. I was 6 years old, I think, in grade 1 at Methodist College, Dilani De Silva. Really sad to have lost touch with her. Yeah, but she was my first best friend.
Your first mobile phone?
Oh, it was one of those Nokia Gadol ones, that big, that silver one, even if you drop it on the road, it doesn't break. It fell in the toilet and it still worked. That was my first phone.
Your first love?
Let's just say it was my dog, Happy.
The first time on stage?
Oh, it was in a school production. I can't remember the name of the play, but I was a crazy old scientist. I played the crazy old scientist who murdered his wife.
The first movie you saw at the cinema?
Jurassic Park. It was a special school screening at the Liberty Cinema, and I was about 10 years old, I think. Jurassic Park.
Your first role model?
I think it would have to be my mother, because like I said, she single-handedly, sorry, not that my father wasn't there, Dida, you were there, but she was Auntie Bossy. She was the boss. She kind of took care of everything and everybody and ran a tight ship. So she's the person who we all, if she could do it, we had to try.
Your first childhood memory?
Going for walks with my grandfather along the beach, the Vellavata beach.
The first thing on your bucket list?
Go on holiday all by myself. Don't show this part to my husband.
Your first job?
I work for a really, really nice lady. Right after I finished my A-levels, Anusha David. I don't know if she'll even remember me, but it was for an advertising company called Blitz Advertising, and I was there as an intern. I made coffee and took photocopies and did running around and that kind of thing. But that was my first job.
Your first salary?
It was 3,000 rupees all those years ago.
The first time you realized you could succeed?
I think when I did a skydive, because I didn't think, like I said, I kind of hold myself back because I second guess myself a lot. So when I actually jumped off that plane and I was falling through the sky, I realized, okay, if I can do this, then I can do anything I really want to do. So yeah, that was it.
Your first adventure experience?
When I quit my job and took a year off to go backpacking and did a lot of adventures, had a lot of adventures in that 1 year.
Your first fear?
Cats. They're scary. They're scary, man. They're scary.
The first person you talk to today?
My son.
The first person you tell when something exciting happens?
My husband.
The first time you celebrated a huge win?
The first time when we opened up Pendi and we had a physical presence.
The first time you felt lonely?
I think it was the first time I moved away from home and I was far away and actually didn't know anybody and I had to live all by myself and do everything by myself. And you realize how much you've taken for granted, the support system you have back home and all the family and friends you have around you.
The first time you cooked?
I made parippu and I burnt it. But I fed it to my Irish flatmates and told them, no, that's the way it tastes, it's really nice, eat it.
The first sport you played?
I swam. I've been swimming from like the time I was a toddler, so yeah, swam.
The first time you quit a bad habit?
I don't think I've quit a bad habit yet. I think I'm still trying to make it work. Haven't quit, no, I don't think.
The first time you started up a business?
Yeah, Pendi is my first business. Hopefully my last. Thank you to Hi TV for having me on this week's segment of Ask Me. There was a lot of questions. I'm exhausted. I hope you enjoyed it, but now I need to go have a drink.